Hi, welcome to your Tone Up in 10 today. We are going to be down onto the mat. We're going to start on all fours and we're going to take it down onto our tummies for the rest of the exercise. So make sure you've got your space prepped ready to start. And when you're ready, join me onto all fours. And we're just going to start mobilising the spine. So find yourself in a position where your shoulders are above your wrists, your hips are above your knees, and take a nice deep breath in and round the spine up towards the ceiling. And breath out as you drop your spine down, lift the hips, lift the chest. Breathe in, tuck under, round up through the spine. And breathe out, sink down, lift the hips, lift the chest. Fantastic. 2 more, deep breath in, tuck under. And breath out, sink down, lift the hips, lift the chest. There we go. Breath in, round as much as you can, get as much tuck under with your hips, separate those shoulder blades, and then sink down, lift the hips, lift the chest. Perfect. Right, take yourselves all the way down onto your tummy. I want your foreheads resting down onto the mat. I'm going to lift my head up so that I can talk to camera and make sure you can hear me. But you are going to be into this position. Arms will be out straight. Legs are out straight. Think about our neutral position in this place. I want you to push your pubic bone down into the mat and at the same time lift your tummy button up and away from the mat. So we're switching those abdominal muscles on. We're going to work with the arms first of all. We're going to reach the arm out forward and do a little lift. So it's breath out, stretch an arm forwards, reach, lift, and then lower it back down again. Swap to the other side. Breathe out, lift it. And breathe in as it comes back down. Forehead is rested onto the mat. Relax the muscles in your neck. Keep your pubic bone pushed into the mat. Keep going, working through those arms. Breathe out, lift. Breathe in, bring it back down. Breathe out, lift. Breathe in, come back down. Good. Keep drawing in with those abdominals. Think strong through those shoulder muscles. So you're sliding your shoulder blade down your spine as you lift the arm. Trying to keep the spine nice and straight as you work through this. Keep going, couple more on each side. Fantastic, good. 1 more on each side now. Breathe out, lift the arm. Breathe in, lower it back down. Perfect. Let those arms rest down. Make sure those shoulders are engaged. Fix them down through your rib cage, and we're going to work through the legs now. So keep that pubic bone pressed into the mat. Keep lifting your tummy button up from the mat. We're going to see if we can squeeze one side of your bottom, so your glutes. You're going to lift a leg all the way from your hip. Try not to bend the knee, but also keep the foot nice and floppy. Now I realise that was a lot of instructions there. So you're going to do a squeeze of your bottom. Other side now. Squeeze those glutes. Keep that leg nice and long as you lift it and then lower it. Good. So all the focus is happening here through the glutes. But what we're trying to make sure is that the hips don't end up rocking from side to side too much. So here we go again. Squeeze and lift. Lower it back down. Breath out as you lift the other side now. Breathe in as it lowers back down. Fantastic. Breath out, lift. Breath in, come down. Good. Floppy ankles, relaxed foot, toes. There we go. Good. Squeeze and lift. Abs are still strong. Fantastic. Good. Right, here we go. We're going to bring arms and legs together this time. So when you get those arms out straight, forehead is still resting onto the mat. Pubis bone is still pressed into the mat, lifting your tummy button away from the mat. We're going to lift both legs very slightly and both arms very slightly. And we're going to take one hand, opposite hand, we're going to work through. And we're going to just pulse the arms up and down into our swimming move. Good. So it's got to work from your glutes, from your shoulders. Elbows and knees are not really working. Keep those abs nice and strong. And we're going to go double time now. See if you can really pulse it. Pulse, pulse, pulse. Lift those abs. Make sure your belly hasn't flopped onto the mat. Pulse, pulse, pulse. Good. Lengthen through the neck. Keep it going. Another 5 seconds. 2, one. Relax your hands down, relax the legs down. Perfect. Keep that head resting down onto the mat. Perfect. Good. We're going to let the arms relax a little bit so you can bring the elbows in so that your head is resting onto the back of your hands here. What we're going to do now is we're going to do some heel pulses and get those glutes really switching on. So we're going to lift both legs. So again, still press that pubic bone down into the mat. Lift your tummy button up. We're going to lift both legs. Toes are facing out towards opposite walls. Your heels are facing each other. And what we're going to do now is we're going to squeeze those heels together and release. Squeeze and release. Squeeze and release. Good. So try and relax through the toes so they're not curling or flaring. But we're just going to try and squeeze the heels together. And as you do that, you'll really feel those glutes switching on. Drive those heels together and then relax. Squeeze them in and relax. Squeeze them in and relax. Fantastic. Keep going. That's it. Let the legs relax down. Give yourself a moment. Just check where everything is in place with your low back. So press that pubic bone back in. Lift through your abdominals. We're going to go again with those with that heel squeeze. So when you're ready, we're going to lift both legs up from the hips, squeezing those heels together and relaxing back down. Good. Squeeze them and release them. Squeeze them and release it. Now we're going to go double time. So squeeze, release, squeeze, release, pulse it, squeeze, 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 squeeze. That's it. Make sure it's working from your hips, from your bottom, all the way through the glutes. Squeeze, 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 squeeze. Last few. Squeeze, 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 release. Relax them back down. Perfect. Bring yourself all the way up into a child pose. Tuck those knees under, sit back onto your heels, stretch those arms out. Good. From here, take a nice deep breath in and flare those ribs out. So deep breath in, open up through the ribs, breathe out, let those ribs sink back in again. Good. Breathe in, open through the ribs. And breathe out, soften back through. Good. One more. Perfect. Now let's give you a nice big stretch through those glutes there. So from here, take your hands forward, so you're onto all fours there. If you can, bring one leg forward and thread it through the gap between your hands and the other knee. From here, you're going to lengthen the back leg out so you're sitting deep down into your pelvis and drop the elbows down. So the stretch should be coming here through your glutes. If you're not quite feeling it, I want you to roll your hips over onto that side so you can feel the stretch through your pelvis. Good. And just hold it there for a few breaths. Perfect. Last deep breath on this side. And then gently bring the hips to the center, unpeel that leg, and we'll pop the other one through. So you're going to thread it through the gap between your hands, between that leg, lengthen that back leg out, drop your hips right down into towards your calf there, down onto your elbows. And again, to get a deeper stretch, just stick your bottom out to the side we want to stretch. So I've got right leg under, so it's the right side I'm stretching. And I'm just leaning my hips towards that right hand side a little bit more to get that stretch, and I can feel it right through the glutes there. Perfect. So again, just keep working with your breathing. Each time you breathe out, see if you can sink a bit deeper into that stretch. Good. And then gently come back to center. Untuck yourself. Let's come back to where we started, onto all fours. Give me a nice deep breath in, round the spine up, and a breath out, sink down, lift the hips, lift the chest. There we go. Deep breath in, tuck under, lift up, and a breath out, sink down, lift the hips, lift the chest. Last one. And sink down. Brilliant. Bring yourself off of your all fours. Give your wrists a little bit of a rotate. Well done. Thank you for joining me again today, and I will see you tomorrow.